So I'm guessing this is probably a pretty big question weighing on your mind if you're considering flipping your class. You're probably thinking, well, what do I do in class now that the direct instruction is done outside of class? Teaching in a flipped classroom demands that we rethink what it is we want to do in our class or in the group space. It demands that we be intentional with our planning and what activities we do in our group space as well. So in my class, I use Cornell Notes. For homework, my students take notes using the unit notes that I provide them, either at home or in their study block, wherever their individual space may be. They write questions that pop into their heads as they watch the videos in the question column on the left. And then when students come into class, one of the first things I have them do every class after they've watched a video for homework is they write a summary for each page of notes that they've taken. I take a grade on the summaries, and at the end of the unit, I bundle that grade together. So if a kid forgot to watch a video or they were absent the day we wrote summaries in class and they didn't go back and write their summary again, it's not going to completely kill their grade for not having a couple summaries done. This is one way that I hold kids accountable for watching the lectures. Another way that I hold them accountable is through video checks. Whoops, excuse me, let me go back. So after students have written a summary of their notes, I give them a video check, which counts as a classwork grade. And from there, that's where the real fun begins. Because now we can move on and start applying what it is that I lectured about in the video the night before. When they come into class, we can do more activities with them. I've been able to focus on other enriching activities, all because we had gotten all that heavy work of lecturing done outside of class. So it's done before they come in. In other words, I was able to lecture before they even set foot in class. When they came in and they had questions, we could discuss it, and I knew what needed to be clarified, and then we could apply what they had taken notes on. This year I was able to do an interactive notebook. We focused on vocabulary. I had a vocabulary wall that the kids actually utilized quite a bit. And I was also able to really work on math skills with my students this year as well. So I just felt better connected with my students overall and kind of had a better pulse on where they were with their understanding. So what would a flipped lesson look like in your class? Maybe you just want to try a unit to get your feet wet and see how it goes. Or maybe you just want to jump in way over your head like I did and flip the whole course. Any way you choose to flip is fine. Maybe it's one lesson, maybe it's a full unit. Maybe you choose only to flip when you know you have to be absent. The flip concept can be applied to any class. Science, math, foreign language, PE, and health classes, both at the elementary and the secondary level. And when I think of the flipped classes, and some of the other subject areas, because like I said, I teach history, so I think of things in a history perspective. But some of the things that you could do if you teach a science class, I think about all the experiments that you could get to do and all the hands-on learning that students could do in a flipped classroom. For math classes, I think about my own daughter who is entering kindergarten this following school year, and I'm really hoping that there might be some flipped math classes because mommy may not understand all this new math that's out there. Foreign languages. I think back to my days when I took Spanish, and my Spanish teacher, we sat in class and we conjugated verbs over and over and over again. What if all that practical stuff was done at home, and then when you come into class, you and your students could have real conversations and actually practice using the language together and learn together. Music teachers, you could demonstrate a musical piece on video and then students could play along and practice at home. There's just so many wonderful ways that you could make a flipped class work for you. Something I believe is another benefit to the flipped classroom is that there's more time for project-based learning. Let's face it, sometimes there are some really awesome projects that we really want to do, but we don't get to do them because we're so pressed because of our pacing, or we've got this coming up or that coming up. So we don't always get to do kind of that fun stuff in our class that we would like to do with our students. So flipping your class, it automatically gives you more time in class to work on those sorts of projects.